We are live. It's a live Toy Guys Talking, and I am being joined by the Massachusetts Wrecking Crew. Very happy to have you boys back on here with me.
Oh, thanks for having us, man.
We'll kill the theme music. Yes, that was the new Foundation theme. Also,
love it.
From
Love it.
wrestling.
Thank you.
And also, actually, even more appropriately for Obi and for Jared, the Heavenly Bodies theme.
Well, I don't like to brag, but
Yeah, I do.
go for it. We're here for an hour. Well, 59 minutes and 30 seconds. So go for it, Jared.
Excellent. Okay.
The floor is yours, sir.
A little bit about me.
So hello to Obi and Jared. Also, hello, gorgeous, to everyone in the live chat right there. Thank you for joining us on another live stream.
Who is in the chat? Can we see? Is there a list of people that we should be seeing? Or what?
Oh, yeah. They're over on the right side of the screen. We got Gojitron, who I think is a very happy Godzilla fan after the events of this past week.
Okay.
And Chris is here as well. Rating Soldier. And Geraint, hello there. Perfect timing. Lunchtime in New Zealand. We got a Kiwi at work. So only go for an hour. Okay, you got it. I think that's as long as Obi and I can go. Jared, though, he's a young pup. We might just leave him here for another hour when we're gone.
Okay. Yeah.
Draws, how you doing? Good to see you. Gaz is there. Good brother.
Yes.
Classic Action Figures. Good to see you. It's not showing up on the StreamYard thing, but over on the YouTube live chat, everyone's rocking the No Ghost logo. That's for channel members. That's the latest emoji, which every time a poll, it has to come down to tiebreaker polls. Also, hello to Dave, Gino,
hey,
how you doing? Steve Moore, how you doing? Chad. One of the big reasons we got to have that extra No Ghost emoji because he was the newest channel member who. The more channel members you have, the more emojis you can have there. Sasquatch Man, how you doing? Ollie, Laco J, hi everyone. Thanks for pouring into the stream, guys. What do you want to talk about? Knitting?
Well, I did send you that link earlier. For that knitting, that knitting circle book.
Working on my cross stitch.
I did see that. I checked out the first 3 chapters of that book, and it's pretty good.
Right.
Pretty good.
It's not bad. I'm almost done with my Afghan.
Should we rename it Toy Guys Knitting? I mean, is that something people want to see? Just us?
I don't think anybody's asked to see it, but it doesn't mean they don't want to.
There's been plenty of things people haven't asked for, and then it turned out, hey, you know what?
That could be the next. That could be the next Patreon poll.
You know what? No one asked for Beast Wars, but that turned out to be a pretty big.
That's true. Very true. Yeah.
That's true.
Good to see Anthony. Welcome. And Techno Bobber, hello there. Anything anyone want to talk about? Either new or old? I know some new pictures of new things got released today, and Micah sent me a couple pictures of those. Those were interesting. New Transformers or old stuff too.
We had some new movies come out. I know you saw them, Mike. Jared, did you any of? Did you catch Justice League or Kong versus Godzilla?
No, I'm embarrassed to say it, but I am interested in Kong versus Godzilla.
Nothing to be embarrassed about. That was fantastic.
Okay, all right, good. Well, I'm in good company, so that's fantastic.
There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people saying that Godzilla versus Kong is a guilty pleasure, but I think it's a good enough movie that you don't have to feel guilty. It's just fun. It is an 80s monster mash.
I had a blast watching that. And
I'm saying that as a guy who hasn't followed the Kong or Godzilla movies at all. I tapped out with the 2014 Godzilla. And I said, okay, if that's what this is all about, then I'm kind of over fun old monsters in a really dark, serious light. Like this was just cheeky. It wasn't campy, but it was brisk, fun, exciting, and I think it's further evidence that a shift is happening, that we're finally getting past like the social justice and all that other stuff that you just smell in a movie. You're like, hey, this isn't about Star Wars. This is about something else.
I just want to see a movie. I just want a movie. That's all I want. It's simple.
Yeah.
Yeah. Goji loved it.
Now,
Uh,
I mean, full disclosure here, like, do people really expect something else out of a Godzilla movie? I mean, I'd compare it to when Obi introduced me to the Pacific Rim, the first movie. I was like, I'm not really sure. I don't know what this is about. But then I started watching. I'm like, what? It doesn't even matter what it's about because it's awesome. I mean, you get these, the huge creatures fighting, the mechs. I mean, it's just that's what the movie is really for. And I mean, I mean, really, what kind of storyline do you expect to follow with Godzilla? Yeah, I mean, it's just I'm there for the action, really.
That's what it's all about. And that's what it was all about. And that's why I walked away so satisfied. When I walk into a Hobbit movie, all I want is the Hobbit. If you're going to call it the Hobbit, give me the Hobbit. Yep. If I watch a Batman versus Superman movie, even though I don't think they should fight, give me that.
Yeah. Right.
Godzilla versus Kong isn't about the humans, right? Like some of the Transformers movies are guilty of that, and that comes down to budget. Like the more humans we have running around in the background, the less we have to animate giant robots.
Exactly.
Right.
And even though there are humans running around in Godzilla, it feels more like they're commentators, right? They're Jesse Ventura and Gorilla Monsoon. They're literally calling the plays. They're like, "Oh, round 2 goes to so and so." We should just say spoilers here. Like we want to talk about the movie, so we'll talk about spoilers. Right. But there's a moment in the fight where Kong puts Godzilla down, and one of the humans in the copter, instead of cutting to him and going, "We got to go get the SAML flange and use it in the mega condenser," instead he's watching the fight and he's into it, and like he's us. He's going, "Whoa, Kong just took round 2."
Awesome.
Like it was just fun.
Kong just took one to the bread basket.
Yeah, you have to take one to the bread basket. Can you imagine the impact?
What was the occipital protuberance?
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, it was good. But yeah, Jared, I knew you wouldn't see Justice League because I remember Batman versus Superman being really sour on you. You hated that.
Yeah, not so much Batman versus Superman. It's I think the whole DC thing just really doesn't get me anymore. I don't know. I've said it before, and I probably I'm probably not making any friends with this opinion, but. I just feel like in comparison with the whole, Marvel, 42 movie epic that they put out, it just seems like DC was all over the map. They were releasing movies that they had nothing to do with one another, and then they were changing characters. They were doing reboots. I just too much. It's just find a timeline, stick to it, and see if you can make something work. None of their movies worked for me, so.
Yeah.
Whatever.
That sentiment, a lot of people like that was exactly my sentiment too, and that's why I didn't really have my heart into Batman versus Superman, and then Justice League, the original cut, I turned it off after 20 minutes, I think. I did see the Snyder Cut, and so if that's how you feel about the DC movies, which is exactly how I felt, and the Marvel movies, I checked out the Snyder Cut not just because I heard it was a better cut, but because it rubbed me the wrong way what they did to Zack Snyder. It wasn't just a case of the guy quit the project and then they decided to redo the movie. His daughter, she committed suicide. And so he said, look, I need to step away. And instead of just finishing the movie he had started, and he filmed most of it, instead of just finishing that, they brought in Joss Whedon and they redid the whole movie. And it rubs me the wrong way because that's not a situation that you use in order to remake your movie because it's not fun and can't be enough. I think that crosses the line. So that's the big reason I wanted to check out Zack Snyder's thing, because it's like a once in a generation opportunity for a guy to go and remake his movie and do it the right way and get his closure, take care of unfinished business.
Exactly.
And I love the Richard Donner
much better
Donner cut of Superman. That's what I thought too. Like, hey, if the Donner cut is that much better than the Lester cut, maybe this has a chance. And so when I watched the Snyder Cut of Justice League, it was great. Like I was saying for a while, I really like that. I didn't love it, but I really like it. Now as more time goes by, it's great. I'm feeling more comfortable saying it's great, and I kind of want to see it again because it's really, really, really great. So that's that. I did a 180 on it, right? The original cut, no thanks. It's not my cup of tea. The Snyder cut, now you're talking Memphis mint chocolate.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
Love chocolate. Any chocolate is fantastic.
That is true. Do you have any stash next to you right now as we speak?
I'm drinking some Memphis mint chocolate. Thanks, Adam.
Jared's always got pretty close at hand.
Yeah, I do. I think I'm reaching in the bucket here. I think I got some.
I knew it.
Skittles. Chris, kids. We're doing new sponsors. So,
New sponsor.
Worth a shot.
I agree with this one. But here's another thing I loved about the Snyder Cut. If you haven't been into Henry Cavill Superman, you might love this one because he finally gets to be Christopher Reeve in this movie. Right. He finally gets to be that, just that wholesome, shining. You almost want to put sunglasses on because he's just such a beacon of goodness in this movie, and he hasn't been in any of the others. So that's another thing. And Chris Reeve, I looked up an old SNL with Chris Reeve where he was doing the Superman auditions. Saturday Night Live. It was in the mid '80s. He was on SNL, and the skit was the final audition for Superman, and it was down to Christopher Reeve, some schlub-looking guy, nothing really special about him, and then like a total actor. You know, like, hey, I'm gonna hem up every line. He's like Shatnering it up. He came from the Shatnerian School of Acting, so he gets killed because in one of the scenes they're actually shooting the actors for real to see if they can catch the bullet. So the schlubby one catches it immediately, no problem. Mm-hmm. He actually catches a real bullet. The actor gets shot in the belly because the director hates him. Donner hates him. And then Reeve keeps missing it. It keeps ricocheting off his teeth. And he's like, I'm sorry. I don't know. If I just had some more time to prepare, I could catch it. Thing. And the window on the glass is shattering. It's pretty funny. So they end up casting Reeve because the guy who's perfect has a commercial that day. So he can't commit to Superman. Oh, that's so they went with Reeve.
So that's how we got awesome. Now we know. That's how we got it.
That's how we know.
Christopher Reeve always.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yep. Anytime his movies are mentioned, that's you end up with a bunch of people chiming in with that Christopher Reeve forever. And they should.
He earned it. He earned it. In 30, 40, 50 years, Hugh Jackman's going to get the same thing. Mm-hmm. You know, they'll be on their 7th Wolverine. And if we're still around, we'll be like, man, that Hugh Jackman. Huge
Jackman.
That's huge Ackman.
Huge Jackman.
No one was ever better than him.
That's right around the time that DC is going to reboot Aquaman for the 7th time by then. So that ought to be fun. I did enjoy Aquaman.
Aquaman was fun.
Yeah.
Aquaman was a lot of fun.
I mean, being a
Shazam
fan right here. So.
That one too. Yeah. You know, I liked Wonder Woman 84.
I didn't see 84. I didn't see 84. I saw the first one. Oh yeah.
They had me at 84. I love the first one too.
Linda Carter in it?
Oh, Linda Carter.
I don't know if well, I guess I just sort of did spoil it by saying I don't know if I want to spoil it. But I'll say
everyone.
Yeah, I won't spoil it.
All right.
Okay, I won't spoil it, but I'm really wanting to share with you the immense joy and elation that one part of that movie brings me. But I can't.
All right. I can respect that.
Maybe you could read into that what I mean. Toy Bounty Hunter says WB and DC are just not willing to take the 10 years it took to build the MCU.
Right.
Yeah, because it looks like Snyder's gone. A lot of people after the Snyder Cut are saying, yes, more Snyder. No, I think it's fairly safe to say he's done. This was a unfinished business closure thing, and it wasn't a get my foot back in the door and keep this rolling. He's already working on Army of the Dead for Netflix, a new series, comic tie-in. He's already moved on, and this is one of those things. I'm just happy that he got to do it, and I love it, but I don't need more. I'm just happy he got to do it.
Trailer looks good for that Army of the Dead. I checked that out.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it looks really
good. One of his early movies was a zombie movie.
Was it Dawn of the Dead?
Yeah, the remake, right?
Yeah, that was
shot right in my area.
was it
I think
really?
it was shot in Toronto, Ontario, and one of the zombies. Remember when they're sniping zombies and like lookalike zombies, and one of them is the Jay Leno zombie.
Jay Leno, yeah.
That's right.
So that guy, that guy is actually an awesome guy. He's a stuntman named Randy Butcher, and he was in one of my early shorts when I was in university. I met him one day, out of the blue, and I said, "Hey, you want to be in a student film?" He's like, "I'd love to." So yeah, I know the Jay Leno zombie, or I knew him anyway years ago. And there is good brother Micah. How you doing? Once again, thank you very much for the gift box. Huge epic. Am I clicking on the wrong one here? Another huge epic gift box coming from Micah.
Yeah.
Agnetha, hello there. Good evening.
Agnetha, she had some nice things to say about us. You should read them.
Hi, Michael, Obi, and Retro. You guys are cool. And for folks,
just want to make sure we're getting it all out there. Thank you.
For folks just joining in, or if you've already been
all along.
If you scroll in the comments, or not in the comments, in the description of the video, I've got links for both Obi and Jared's Instagram. It's Obi's Toy Box and Retro Toy Pile over on Instagram. So give those a look. They've got some really, really awesome collection pics on their Instagram profile. So maybe head on over there in a different window, and if you have something you want to say to them about some of the pictures, then hit them up right here.
By all means, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I love feedback. Positive feedback. I don't care.
It depends. It depends who it's coming from.
That is true. That is true.
And it depends it depends what they're saying.
Yeah. It's mostly positive. Yeah.
Am I getting the point across? I don't really care about feedback.
Right. I think that's what I'm trying to say here. I don't know. I've had people tell you should post more pictures in the, because I switch up my style every now and then. I've said this before. I'm not a photographer, so a lot of the stuff that I'm doing, it's not very thought out. Okay. So but every now and then I get comfortable in a certain style of photo that I take, whether it's got, I don't know, the pastels in the background or the solid colors or the whatever. I think people say, "Oh, you should just post with a blue background." I'm like, what?
I think a guy already does that. I think there's a dude who is already doing that.
Right.
Or
just start your own account and do that. I mean, and it's okay. I mean, that's fine if that's your opinion, but
I like the one where you're hugging the command. What is it? The Cobra Command.
Yeah.
Oh, and I see in the background you've got the Chuck Norris Corvette. I've been hunting for one of those, mainly because I thought it would be dirt cheap, because I got the Chuck Norris figures for $5 each at a convention. So I thought the Corvette's got to be 10, but that thing goes actually for a pretty penny these days.
Yeah,
Mike, there's a funny story about that Corvette.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, very funny story. Yeah. So Obi and I were at Comic-Con, right? Was it Comic-Con?
Yeah.
It was one of the
Comic-Con
cons.
Providence. Yep.
And I happened to see, because myself, I was also looking for the Chuck Norris Corvette. I had it when I was a kid. It was a fantastic toy. But you have to buy them. You have to make sure that they have the gimmick, because it had the wings that popped out and then the hood spikes and all that. So you can't just buy the shell. That's no fun. You got to buy the thing complete. So I found it more or less complete from a vendor at Comic-Con. And he had several of the figures and, some of the weapons and accessories. And so we struck a pretty good deal, and I feel like I got a really good bargain on that whole package. Yeah. And at some point, there's the Corvette in the background there. I actually have a funny story about the command center too, but I won't play with that.
Yes, he
does. So as far as the Corvette's concerned, the guy's chatting me up. He's asking me questions while he's putting my stuff in a bag, and then like 2 days later, I go to pull everything out of my backpack so that I can put it on display. And I realize all I have is the Corvette. I don't have any of the accessories. I don't have any of the figures or anything. And best I can guess is that while I was, the guy was chatting me up, he just forgot to put it in the bag. So I thought I was getting a great deal on a pile of toys, but in reality, all I got was the Corvette. So That's okay. But I've since gathered all the other accessories and figures to go with it. So just to kind of prove a point, but
that's good. I just not too long ago got this Kenner Knight Rider right here.
I saw that. Yes.
So I'm thinking the Corvette, the Chuck Corvette, is about the same scale. Kenner also, so I thought they might look good. Yeah. Going against each other. And I know if Chuck Norris and his Corvette collided with Kit, that there'd be nothing left of Chuck's Corvette, but there'd also be nothing left of Kit.
Right. Yeah, pretty sure
absolutely.
The Earth would implode at that point.
What are some of your favorite Chuck Norris facts, folks in the live chat there?
Oh, geez, it's been a while. There's so many good ones. Just
did a commentary with Eric and Gaz this past weekend for Delta Force, so that commentary is coming out soon, and I shared quite a few, possibly too many Chuck Norris facts throughout that whole thing.
No such thing as too many Chuck Norris facts.
Yeah, there are many, very many.
Right.
I mean, isn't there an entire website dedicated to that?
Yeah. Well, I have a book that's got 400 of them. So
you have a book. I was embarrassed that I
calendar.
knew about the website, and you have a book.
I got a calendar.
I didn't actively buy it.
Wasn't a gift from me, was it? I don't know. I don't think so.
There's some Hot Toys discussion, and I know Obi is a huge fan of Hot Toys. We love Hot Toys. I can't afford most Hot Toys, but they're.
You have some though.
Would you say, Obi, they're the top of the line when it comes to any 6-inch scale?
Yeah, there's a lot of companies out there now that are doing the 6-scale figures, but Hot Toys is still the top of the heap right now. They're really tough to beat. Really tough to beat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the Crow, I've got the Brandon Lee Crow Hot Toys figure. The Crow is a great movie, maybe too dark. I mean, that you can't really critique The Crow like a normal movie because of what happened.
Yeah,
right.
All things considered, it's a masterpiece to me. I mean, it's Brandon Lee's memorial. So it's kind of hallowed ground for me. When I put The Crow in, it's not just because I'm bored and I want to watch a fun movie. I'm like, maybe on Brandon's birthday or something like that. Chuck Norris versus Brandon's father, Bruce Lee. That actually happened in a movie.
It sure did.
Revenge of the Dragon, I think, or something like that.
Was it Enter the Dragon or
Revenge of the Dragon? I think.
Revenge of the Dragon. Yeah, Chuck lost that one because he didn't have the beard.
Oh yeah, he even got chest hair pulled off from that one.
The facts are coming in. Chuck Norris still checks under his bed and his closet, making sure Bruce Lee isn't there. I saw a great one of John Wayne, and the caption said, "Chuck Norris, never heard of her."
Wow,
that's actually pretty funny.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Death once had a near Chuck Norris experience. Chuck Norris could burn ants with a magnifying glass at night. Woodman, good to see you.
Chuck Norris can slam a revolving door.
Oh, jeez.
Oh my God.
We're going in that direction. Yeah.
Dave might get us back on track. We used to call the NHL Norris division in the 80s the Chuck Norris division because of all the fights. Awesome hockey, awesome actor. Yep.
That's great.
He must be from Canada too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of Dave? Canada, I'm especially happy to be doing this tonight because our premier, which is like king of our province, basically, governor, has decided another lockdown is necessary. So we're locked down for another 4 weeks. So this is the only type of hangout I'm going to have for a while, a virtual hangout. Chuck got choked by Steven Seagal.
Seagal. I think I said Seagal.
Seagal. It is Seagal. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Hey, may as well be.
We'll take one more here. We don't want this to be a Chuck stream. Jason David Frank is the same belt rank as Norris, but Jason David Frank has saved the universe in multiple colors. Is that the Green Ranger?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
We saw him at one of the cons, Jerry. He's always at one of the cons. Yeah.
We've seen all the colors, I think, at the cons.
We've seen pretty much every Power Ranger. We just don't talk to them.
Yeah.
Looping back to wrestling, he's the one I think that keeps challenging CM Punk to an MMA fight.
Really?
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'd pay to see that.
It would be, don't pay much. It won't be a quick fight.
No.
CM Punk, bless his heart. He's got a lot of it. He's got a lot of heart, but he doesn't have much. From the 2 fights I've seen of him in UFC, the guy has all heart, but
not a lot of skill set though.
Apparently in UFC, a lot of heart isn't going to get you the win though. Like,
No.
Yeah. So
it seems in the UFC the trash talkers are, I mean, probably not the ones to follow down the path. I mean, how many videos on YouTube can you find with the what are they, like, trash talker gets knocked out, and those are my favorite because those are the guys that just go in there too cocky and then they get a roundhouse kick to the mouth.
That's the thing. Like in life, the people who do the most squawking. And like they call people out, and especially Twitter, right? Or Twitter, like, the diatribes and stuff. They're the ones in those videos who are like squawking and squawking. It's the quiet ones you got to watch because they slip that jab in there and it's over. Like they're not getting paid by the hour.
They're paid by the hour. I like that.
Yeah, it's always the same thing, and it's instant,
right?
And it's just instant. Like the squawking stops, and there's no like fist pumping from the guy who did it. Like those guys are warriors. They see a problem and they solve it. Like this guy's talking too much,
right?
And I want him to stop talking. Bang, and then they walk away. They go buy a sandwich or something.
That's it.
I'm going to toss him a throat punch and walk away.
Yeah. So William Curry brings up a toy issue. NECA looks great, but you have to be careful or they'll break easily. Yeah. I've had that. Everyone's had that. Yeah. I think it's kind of implied with something that's that high detail. It's kind of like a hot toy, right? Hot toys.
Yeah.
You got to be careful, but I have had some NECA things that broke from things that shouldn't have broken them. Like my RoboCop NECA, the leg holster thing busted from nothing. Like from it has a function and it just broke by doing the actual function it was designed to do.
Most of the NECA stuff, it's the joints that break because the joints too. You shouldn't have to do it, but I mean, anybody that collects a lot of them, you have to boil them or heat them up before you move the joints. Otherwise, they're just going to snap.
But have they gotten better?
They use not really.
Because I feel like I've gotten some recent NECA that have improved a lot, and then the most recent one I got was the Roddy Piper they just did back to wrestling.
Yeah, They Live, right?
They Live, and that thing, I'll tell you how good the Roddy Piper is. I put him up on top of one of my Daytolfs, and this is great because most collectors know exactly the height I'm talking about. I couldn't tell you the height of a Daytolf, but if I tell you how high a Daytolf is, Bobby's got 2 of them right there. I put him on top of the Daytolf because he's not quite 6 scale, but I wanted him near the 6 scale. So I put him up there. I come down the next morning. He fell off. And he seemed really sturdy. I thought there's no chance of him falling. He fell off anyway. And I thought, NECA, oh man, how many pieces has he broken into?
Oh, no.
None. That guy can take a bump. He fell all the way out of a Daytolf. And nothing cracked, nothing broke. So at least the 8-inch figure, maybe they did that on purpose so that the Piper and the Keith David figure, you can smash them like in the movie.
Smash them together.
Yeah, in the sling 'em, fling 'em ring, and they won't break. But as far as that last one goes, when people say NECA's too fragile, hey, you know what? I dropped my Roddy Piper figure off a Daytolf. Nothing cracked, nothing broke.
Well, that's good.
I heat all mine up. I heat all of them up. I've heard horror stories about the Flash Gordon and Ming the Merciless figures that are out right now from NECA. That they just they're super, super fragile. And I'm like, oh, well, I got them on order, so when they come in, they'll be in the hot water and we'll see what happens after that. But I don't know.
And Gargoyles. They're doing Gargoyles, which look awesome.
Yes, they do. Yes, I've seen those. Yep. I'm excited about those.
Happy about those. I love when they dust off a great old animated series that, people always, there's rumblings about Gargoyles. Hey, you seen Gargoyles? No, what is that? It's one of the best animated shows ever. And every time I watch a Gargoyles episode, I still can't believe that came out when it did. Like that thing was decades ahead of its time.
Yeah,
I still don't know how they greenlit such a dark, but also, equal parts light Like, it's
Oh, yeah.
light and dark. It's like Star
Yeah.
Wars. It evened
Sure.
itself out. It was fun but violent. Disney cartoon.
I was gonna say, for a Disney cartoon in the afternoon.
Yeah.
In the afternoon, it wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was, I think, early mid 90s ish, 93, 94, something like
Yeah.
that. That was a really, really good show.
And I
It
passed
was.
on it simply because it was Disney, and I liked gummy bears. It was the only thing that was on when I went home for lunch, is gummy bears. So I watched gummy bears for like 2 years for lunch, because no internet, no DVDs or anything. You're like, what's on TV? Gummy bears.
I watched it.
But when I had the choice, here's this new Disney cartoon, Gargoyles. I'm like, I'm good. I've watched enough Disney cartoons, having no idea that this would have been right up my alley. It would have fit perfect with Fox Kids.
Oh, yeah. I ended
That's
up
true.
binging that on Disney Plus. I binged the whole season, the series. It was fantastic.
Gargoyles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a great show.
Draws
Sure
is
is.
saying, here's a blast from the past for me. I had this way back when, the 18-inch, and is it the endoskeleton? I had the giant endoskeleton with light up eyes, and that one was scary. It felt like it was made out of straw.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
just creak, creak, creak. Like, I'd love a metal one, but that's gonna be like $5,000 probably.
Yeah, that quarter scale stuff looks great, but it's heavy and it's just
And
as fragile
huge.
as the other stuff. It's huge.
And too
Yeah,
big.
Yeah, it's way too big.
Another reason, like, I had the 18-inch Ash from McFarlane, and it was cool, but it was just
Well,
so
that's-
huge. Like, you can't get dozens of those 18-inch figures. It makes it less special when you have a bunch of giant figures. I think it's cooler that there's one giant G1 Transformer and it's Fortress Maximus. There's not like 10 of them. So the third-party companies and even Hasbro are doing the Titan-sized ones, and that's cool. But when you get like a wall of Titans, like, okay,
Yeah.
it's
Takes up a lot.
getting crowded here.
Yeah. There's no real scale comparison when you have 6 of them, on a shelf.
Mm-hmm.
I just pre-ordered from Big Bad Toy Store the Boglins, the new Boglins.
Who never heard of them?
Who?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, you've never
Let's
heard
just-
of them. Okay.
Let's
I've-
say
I've ordered from them a few times.
BBTS.
Yeah.
I might have given
Yeah.
them a few shout outs too.
They know you quite
So
well.
the new Boglins look pretty awesome. Have you seen those?
Are they reissues? I've seen pictures.
Yeah,
Are they straight up reissues of the originals?
they look exactly the same.
Oh, that's awesome.
It doesn't even look like
I
they
think I
changed
still
the
have my
packaging
Bog-
much. No, you don't. Really?
I think I do.
Oh,
I think so.
you have
I
everything
love those.
from when you were a kid. That's
Dude, I'm a pack rat and I don't throw anything out.
And you're lucky enough that your mom didn't throw anything out.
yeah.
No, I'm not Adam. Adam's mom threw everything out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Guy
that's tough.
had to track everything down.
But that's
But
part
yeah.
of the fun, though. Like the thing that's really interesting about vintage toy collecting, I think the closest thing might be like car guys, but and maybe records too. You can get what you had, and it doesn't have to be the actual original thing you had. That's the thing that I'm really noticing about vintage toy collecting. Like, I've got the Action Masters Optimus Prime, which I never thought I'd be nostalgic for. I sold it like 6 or 7 years ago, 5 or 6, something like that. And about a year after I sold it, I went, why did I sell that? Like, I know why I sold it, because I didn't like it. Because I went, Action Masters, they suck. I hate them. They bring back bad memories of the death of G1. That's why I sold it. And then when I got rid of it, I went, oh man, I actually really love that thing. And that was the last G1 Optimus Prime my mom ever bought me. So I was like, why did I get rid of that? And it's taken this long to hunt another one down, but I finally pulled the trigger, found one. It's always in Europe. God bless you, Europe. It's cheaper to ship from Europe to Canada than anywhere else in the world. But I got one from Europe, and when I opened the box up, you couldn't tell me it wasn't the one that I had, back in 1990 that my mom bought me. It was like I was smiling ear to ear, and there wasn't even the slightest feeling of, but it's not the original one I had.
Right.
It probably looked better than the one I sold. And the important thing was it all came from the same mold, same construction, moves the same, looks the same. it's the same, and that's what's great about vintage toy collecting. You don't actually have to get the one that you had, because the sentimental value isn't the actual one that you had. It's one of
what it is. Right.
One of tens of thousands that was made. So that's the really cool thing. It's not like a limited edition, one of 50 made. Like, you know, if you loved your G1 Jazz when you were a kid and you lost it somewhere along the way, you can go and get a reissue for not too much and get that nostalgia right back.
Right.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep. Agreed.
Absolutely.
That's one of the reasons, and I won't turn this into a Masters of the Universe stream here, but
actually, please do, because we're like a half hour in and we haven't mentioned He-Man, which I'm a huge fan. So go for it.
And LB knows me well enough to know I don't get too excited about new toys. Mostly everything that I go after is vintage. Masters of the Universe is, of course, you know, my favorite line, but. Throughout the years, you know, with the Motu classics, the Super 7 editions, everything that they've come out with, really, nothing's really tickled me the correct way. You know what I mean? As far as that feel. But the new Origins that are out now are just, in my opinion, the closest thing that they've put out Masters of the Universe related that has you know, it's getting me in the feels, you know. I've never looked at a new toy and said, wow, I can't wait to just get all of those, you know. So I've been buying them actually for my son, who's he's less than a year old. So by the time I'm done collecting all the waves, he's gonna, you know, in 4 years, 5 years, he's gonna have the best Christmas morning ever. And I'm, you know, because he's going to get to open all of them. You know, so I guess, you know, like my wife says, you know, you're buying those for you, not for him. And it's, I guess that's partly true. But I'm buying because I want to see him open them and enjoy them as much as I did, you know? And guess what? If he's not into He-Man, then I'll sell him. I don't know, but that's the closest thing I think that Mattel or anybody has put out that really hit the nail on the head when it comes to that vintage style. I mean, the card back, you know, they're perfect. Everything about those figures are fantastic. You know, the scale, the look, the feel. I feel like they updated them just enough. You know, like the back of the card topper. You know, the artwork is a little different, but it looks close enough to the originals where I don't know. It's just very well done. Very well done.
Oh, so,
yeah. I was going to ask you what you thought of those, so I'm glad you brought it up.
Yeah, I love them.
Ray's Wonder has a good slogan here. Close enough is good enough. Yeah. So, like you said with the art, I'm glad that you don't nitpick and go, it's not precisely what came before. But Origins is special, and I'm so glad to see so many vintage He-Man fans feel it. Not just see it, but they feel it. There's something about Origins that's different than any other new, rebooted, reimagined toy line. And it's because they've just got the perfect blend of old and new. It's old with a little bit of, it's the stuff we so wanted. We wanted those elbows to bend and the head to move up and down. And they didn't go overboard. Like the classics are great, but now that we have Origins, perhaps the classics was too much articulation and too much detail, which you know, that's cool for another, you know, style if you want it, but Origins, and it's funny, I love Origins. I'm not getting them all. I pass on quite a few of them. Like when I see Roboto, I think he's awesome, and I pick one up because I want a vintage one or a mint on card one, but like he goes perfectly with my commemorative mint on card ones. They blend in with the originals so perfectly. Yeah. And you can't do that with any other reimagined reboot figure. Like you can't put a Modern Joe, 4-inch Modern Joe with an O-ring. They don't really integrate, right? But Origins goes perfectly with the vintage ones.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. They kept the scale close enough. And, you know, another thing about the Origins is, you know, you can walk, you know, down the aisle of a department store again and see them on the pegs. I mean, that's all. I think that's what I've been waiting for. I mean, obviously, you know, you can't really go shopping nowadays because, you know, That's how the
that's my thing.
pandemic. But
Yeah.
That's my thing with dice. Like I don't really like those. Like for me, I think like the Origins not really my cup of tea. But I love that they're out there, and I love that the pegs are full. You go down any aisle, and there's so much. I'm like, it brings back so many good memories of like the old days where toy aisles just chock full of figures on pegs. Oh, I love it. And the packaging, I always like the He-Man packaging anyway. The colors and just excuse me, the artwork. So I love seeing that stuff out there. So I'm glad that people like you and whatnot, and people that love this stuff are able to find it, because it's great.
Yep. It's nice to see. And I mentioned it, I think, in one of the early Toy Museum videos, and how I was reminiscing about Toys R Us. It wasn't just about what's on the shelf, it's about who's on the shelf. And it's cool to see those characters. It's not just a Roboto toy, it's Roboto, who didn't get much time in the cartoon, but still, like, he's such a fondly remembered character. And then Merman, some of the more well-known characters, definitely He-Man. Definitely a lot of new good toys. Stephanie's here. Hello, Stephanie. Thanks for dropping in.
Hello.
The retro Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
So those are the Kenner reissues. Absolutely adore them. Love them.
They're perfect. Yep.
They're starting to pop up more and more now too, at Walmart. Which is
and
good.
maybe a lot of people won't believe me, but if I had the choice between the vintage ones on card with kind of slightly yellowed bubbles and maybe dinged corners, either those or the new reissues, I think I would go with the reissues, possibly, or maybe I'll get the vintage ones, sell them, and then maybe that. But in terms of in terms of what I would display, I think I would display the reissues, because they're just so, looking right at them, they're so shiny and clean, and I'm like, I never thought I'd have them. So I'm really happy they did those.
That's another great line. They did a fantastic job reissuing those.
Mm-hmm.
Can't change too much. I mean, I understand the need to go in a new direction, but go down the same path. But some toys, you don't have to change much. Just kind of. I feel like there's some toy lines where they can almost pick up where they left off. Like, for example, I've talked about this before, but I wish Hasbro would do something with Visionaries. That is a toy line. They put out one series 1. We've all seen the photos of series 2 that were never released, but I don't understand why that toy line just didn't do well.
Someone even did a whole video about the second series.
Is that right?
He even came up with, like,
I think I missed that.
He even came up with poems for them and totem powers, and
see that?
That was a pretty good video.
It's a good video.
Pretty good.
I hit that like button several times on that one, but apparently you can only hit it once. So
thank you. Hello, Stephanie.
Hey,
that's my wife.
Oh, Mrs. Opie's Toy Box.
Hey.
Mrs. Opie's Toy Box. Hi, sweetie.
Mrs. Toy Box. Awesome.
That's what he always calls her.
Great.
That's right.
Now she's going to call my wife and tell her to chime in. So
they're expanding the Draw says they're expanding the MOTU brand like a steady train. It is growing. So the Origins came out, and before you knew it, have they done the whole original run? It almost feels like it. Like Scareglow, Ninja, Clamp Champ, almost all the originals have been. What's that?
There's a lot of figures out there.
Oh yeah,
cranked out in a year. In one calendar year, they've cranked out more figures than they did in the original line in like 4 years, I think, 3 or 4 years. But then there's the little minis, which are adorable. There's also the Mega Constructs, little guys. And
I like those a lot. I think those are so cool.
Yeah, especially $5. But then there's also like a Marvel Legends scale too. So they're really like pick your scale. They're all over the place. Right. Plus the Mondo. They did the Mondo 12-inch He-Man as well, right?
Those are beautiful. Yep. Those are beautiful.
He-Man is back.
Yep. And aren't they doing another line too? Another 6-inch line that's a little bit more adult. We're kind of like not classics, but kind of on that idea.
I
thought
saw
that
that
was
they
supposed to-
released the
yeah.
that translucent Skeletor. I'm not. Is that the
Yeah.
line you're talking about? I'm not sure
I don't
really
know.
what direction they're going, but
Yeah, I don't think they do either, but that's fine.
Yeah. Hey, everybody relax. Everybody relax. He's back. every time someone goes, "Hey, I'm here," I always think of Jack Burton, the Pork Chop Express. Everyone, I'm back. hope, you're having a great day too, Dale. Thanks for dropping in.
Dale, thank goodness you're back. We were taking this in a pretty bad direction, but
Classic Action Figures has the intel. It's Masterverse and Revelation. So Revelations is a cartoon.
That's it.
Animated series, Netflix series with everyone's excited for Mark Hamill as Skeletor. What do you think of that, Jared?
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
If you can't have Alan Oppenheimer, that's
as
lateral as you can get. Like it's not an Oppenheimer, but it is the Joker. So
yeah, I mean it's not Frank Welker, but we'll take it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And another hello to another Stephanie. Hello, Stephanie.
Or it says Matt. It's Matt. Now I'm confused. I need an explanation,
Hi,
please.
Yeah, please explain.
What's going on?
Oh my goodness.
So here's another He-Man one. I love that we're on He-Man now. We'll talk about Star Wars in a minute, Obi, if you want.
No.
Origins Deluxe Ram Man is great. So they made him a deluxe figure. Did that with Battle Armor He-Man as well.
Yeah.
I guess because of the gimmick and also all the accessories. And it's kind of weird. Going back to when we were kids, there were no deluxe figures in that line. Like if he was a battle armor dude, that's his gimmick, whatever. Mosquito had such an intricate gimmick, but no, he's just a regular figure. Today, no, that's going to cost extra. And same with Ram Man.
Yeah.
Same thing the original did, but that's going to cost extra. Huge upgrade from the original, but still keeps the same look. That's awesome. Yeah, the original one was like a springing brick, basically, but still one of my favorite toys.
Well, do you have any articulation at all? Ram Man, the original Ram Man?
Arms.
Like his arms.
They just swivel.
That's it.
Yeah. Kind of like jazz fists. They weren't jazz hands. They were like jazz fists. Yeah.
Oh my God.
That should be in the yellow bubble burst jazz fist action.
Jazz fist, yeah.
Jazz fist action.
Don't forget, they did have the original deluxe figures. They had Hurricane Hordak, they had Terraclor, Skeletor, Thunder Punch He-Man.
Thunder Punch was the deluxe. That's right.
Yeah. Those were deluxe figures mainly because they had the extra accessories. But the sculpt was different. But yeah, they did have the deluxe figures.
If they do and they probably won't do a Thunder Punch now because caps are kind of outlawed, frowned upon. But if they do like a Terraclaw Skeletor, he's coming in a box. Like, if those back then needed to be classified as deluxe, then today they'd be like, we got to put this in a giant box. This is too much.
Yeah.
$50.
$50, his eyes light up.
If you're lucky. If you're lucky.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Yeah, there was a great video that I saw recently about Battle Armor He-Man. So that guy right there.
Me?
Yeah.
I saw that one too. It wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad.
I wish you would shut up and show the toy though.
I
was interested because I didn't realize that I liked how you explained the head. How they gave it the real head. I mean, I don't know what the new head is doing on that figure, but
it's inspired by the classic art of, I don't think it was Earl Norham, it was someone else, but they're trying to go for that classic art, and it's like maybe go for
right. Yeah.
Like the figure was finished and they were like, oof.
Yeah.
Oof.
But when I used to watch toy videos years ago, I mean, a lot of the stuff I do is things I wish other people would do. So they would, really quickly show off something, and I'm like, but you didn't try this and try that. You didn't play with it. You didn't futz with it. Like, don't just stick it there and then talk and have the camera on the toy for 2 minutes and you're just yakking. Like, show me, swap some heads and swap some body armor and weapons and stick them in some vehicles and stuff. Like, compatibility matters. And
Right.
then that's what I consider playing, right? Playing around, sticking it in a vehicle. I never did get that Mr. T in a Wind Raider, though. He just wouldn't go in. I don't know
Really?
what the deal was. He just doesn't like to fly. He wouldn't fit.
Well, he doesn't like to fly.
He fought me on it. It was weird. Any other Origins figure will fit in a Wind Raider. T, no, sucker. I ain't getting on no plane.
Is that with or without his armor? Both ways?
Both ways. Yeah. He wouldn't go in. His legs just kind of like a cat when you're trying to put it in a sink to wash it. Obi, what do you think of this? Hot Toys Masters of the Universe.
Well, boy, I'll tell you what. If anybody was gonna do it, it would. You know what though? There's a couple other companies I think could pull it off. But Hot Toys would be the one I'd put my money on. Definitely. Although I gotta say, for 6 scale, those Mondo ones are really, really nice looking figures.
They got the build right. Like a He-Man figure is going to need to be colossal. Like it needs to be. If you put it next to Hot Toys Dutch or the T800, you need to go. Yeah, look at this little puny Arnold figure next to this He-Man. So I don't know if Hot Toys could come up with a body that huge and yet realistic.
They'd have to use. They'd have to use something like maybe just a little bit smaller than like the. Because I'm looking at some of the ones on the like my Thanos figure.
Right.
Is big. Is a little bit bigger, and he's got a really stocky. You know what I mean? Like that would work. Something like that would work definitely.
Right.
But yeah. I mean, if they do a live action movie, Hot Toys will do it.
Mm-hmm. Here's some unfinished business. William Curry wish someone would come out with $6 million man figures. Where is Colonel Steve Austin?
Yes.
Shout out to Gaz, one of Gaz's biggest heroes. Colonel Steve Austin, one of my first toys ever. He had no outfit. I think one arm was broken off. He was in a big bin of junk toys that my mom got at the flea market. But one of my first toys ever was the bionic Steve Austin with the eye, the bionic eye that reversed things. Maybe mine was misaligned or something, or like when you look through it, was it everything smaller instead of magnified?
Yeah, it was supposed to look magnified.
Yeah, but it was smaller though. Right. And I found one at a convention years ago, and I like held it up, and it was the same thing. I'm like, everything's smaller; it's further away.
That's because you had adult eyes.
Oh,
yeah, probably.
Good point.
Anyone want to talk about Thundercats or Silverhawks? Thundercats cats got brought up because the guy who did Godzilla versus Kong. So a lot of people enjoyed that movie. It made some decent money at the box office for the situation we're in. There's no more like $300 billion box offices, but that one did very well. So obviously, this is weird to me. Guy does a great movie. Hey, you'd be perfect for Thundercats. Like, I don't see the connection, but he's in talks to do a Thundercats something. Live action something, I guess.
I think the trick with Thundercats is it's a fine line between it coming out awesome and looking like Zoobilee Zoo, you know? Because I don't know. I feel like I think of the characters, right, in Thundercats, and it's almost like Masters of the Universe. Like how are they going to ruin this character for the big screen? You know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, I'd love to see it, but it's either going to be too much CGI or not good enough makeup, you know, unless it's, you know, part of like the, Lord of the Rings franchise. I mean,
it's so tough
it's going to be tough. Yeah.
It's tough it's tough to be true. Like to make a live action Thundercats, same with He-Man. It's tough to stay true and not be campy. Yeah. So you want Panthro to look like Panthro, but if he looks exactly like him, it'll be like that SNL skit where the guys are dressed up and they're like, you know, you don't want that. The changes need to be made. That's true. But then the problem is sometimes what happens when they take something fun and wholesome back in the day, because Thundercats, there's nothing, you know, you look at it today. Kids look at it today who didn't grow up on it. They're like, what? You do it today. So what they do is they make it BA, right? They make it tough and so cool, and everyone's Batman. This is one of my descriptions of the new Transformers on Netflix. Everyone's Batman. Why is Bumblebee Batman? I'm Bumblebee. Espionage.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
so then everyone would have to be Batman, and the problem is Tigra isn't Batman. Chitara isn't Batman. Wily Kit and Wily Cat aren't Batman. Can you imagine a Robert Burble going, "Welcome to Third, welcome to Third Earth"? Like, no, it needs to be fun. Burbles need to be basically Ewoks.
Yeah.
Well, Snarf could be, he could be Batman.
Snarf is Batman.
He could be Alfred.
Yeah, exactly. With the cape and I am
Yeah.
the knight. Snarf.
That was
It's
a good impression.
God. That was
if Snarf was Batman.
Spot on.
I have one rule. Snarf. It's tricky. It's tricky because you cannot go far enough or you can go too far. You definitely need to go a little further in the cool factor, but it feels like in too many things they go too far, and it's like, bring out the black leather suit. You might as well, right? G.I. Joe dealt with that in Rise of Cobra. Everyone in black leather. I'm like, great.
Right.
Maybe
I think
color.
that's why
Dale on black leather. That's why.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I
Dale
think
has a
that's why
nice thing here.
Sitting here, I was reading that. Okay, there we
Go
go.
for it.
I was reading this.
I thought there were cue cards coming up. I didn't know.
No, go for it. Read it.
You know? Let's see. All right, Dale. Sitting here reminds me of growing up with my grandfather. Going to a coffee shop, talking with his friends. We all did the same thing growing up, talking with our friends. Of course we did. Absolutely. I mean, who else can you talk toys with other than, can't exactly go to work and talk toys.
Who can you talk to, period?
Yeah, that's true. That's true nowadays, yeah.
The world shut down. Except for WrestleMania. They're going to let 25,000 fans into an arena to watch WrestleMania this weekend.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I mean, have you seen? I mean, wrestling. They're doing it in like the storeroom of a library. I mean, there's nothing going on. There's like dust off on the shelves, and they. I don't know. It's just a pretty sad state of affairs. It almost looks like remember when you were a kid and you made like a blanket fort in your living room, and
that's
kind of what WWE's doing now, right? Yeah, but they're getting through it. So hey, let 25,000 people in, I guess.
So that'll be the nice thing, to actually have them perform in front of a real crowd. I think it's 100,000 seater, and they're going to spread people out so that everyone's got their distance, and so $25,000 in 100,000 seat arena. But still, it's live reaction. And the other promotion, AEW, they let a few fans disperse throughout the arena. It makes a huge difference just having some fans in there and chanting. Because what they've been doing in that, in that storage room, they've put up a screen of people Skyping in, basically Zooming in, and it's just their heads sitting there, and it's like it's like 1,000 heads, just and they call it the Thunderdome, because Vince has always been notoriously behind the times. He just watched Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, so he's like, we're gonna call it the Thunderdome, like that new movie with Mel Gibson. So there's the heads there, but the problem is you can't get the audio, right? You don't know what these people are saying. So they pipe in audio. They pipe in crowd noise. That's not actually happening. Not just like noise of chants. This is awesome. Like, oh man.
Well, what was the nonsense they did with last year with WrestleMania? Didn't they did it like in
storage room? Yeah, it was in a closet. It was in the gym where they train new wrestlers. They literally they didn't have much time to set it up, but they just did it in the gym, in the performance center, empty. There was no Thunderdome wall screen. There was no one. They didn't even have like gaffers going, "Yeah, go get him, Roman Reigns."
Yeah, there was nothing.
It was empty and quiet, and I watched it, and it was so quiet that I actually found like soccer arena noise on YouTube, and I played that.
I remember you saying that. Yes.
Wow, really?
So it helped.
Wow.
It helped. I guess Vince heard. Vince heard because now he's doing it. He's like, get that soccer arena noise.
Right.
Without the fans,
they were still talking trash.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. Hey, Obi had a you posted something. Was that today or yesterday? I don't know why I'm using my finger.
I don't either.
I don't know why I'm doing that.
Don't point that thing at me. It's got a nail.
So,
in it.
you had posted a group of toys. What was
Yes.
it? Your best 9 or best 10 or something like that?
Top 10 so far this year.
There it is. Yes.
Yeah.
And so there was one figure in there that you actually mentioned, and I can't
Which one?
read; it's too small. It was one of the Mandalorian figures, right?
Yeah, point at it. No, yeah, which one? In the front row?
Yeah. No.
Yeah, there it is. See, Mike was pointing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What brand is that?
that's Hasbro. Oh,
No
what?
kidding.
The one in the back or the front row? The small
The
one
one
in the front
the
row?
one in the back. The one in
big
the back.
gunner.
Oh, the one in the back. That's Hot Toys.
Hot Toys. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
beaut. It's a beaut,
yeah,
Clark.
That's a Butte Clark. I'm giving the whole year through.
No, I love that. Yeah, you posted. I get excited.
Yeah, I dig that one a lot. That's a heavy figure. Yeah.
Here's a figure that I've been wishing for a long time. Mad Max figure, plus a Roddy Piper figure. We got close with the They Live figure, Mego size. I'd love a 12-inch, but
Yeah.
a Mel Gibson Mad Max figure has never happened. Not even these third-party, unofficial, and licensed figures. No one's done Mel. The closest we got was the Tom Hardy Fury Road.
Yep.
A couple of the unlicensed guys. I
Mhm.
think there were 2 of them. I've got one of them, and then there was one BTS, Wasteland Ranger, and some other thing. So those were nice, but a Mel Mad Max figure, how is it not
There's
happening?
a couple guys I follow that have a couple of really, really good Mel Gibson customs, 6
Really?
scale. Yeah, and they're gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous.
And come to think of it, there's no Mad Max anything, like other than some of the the auto art car. Greenlight has the car license now.
Yeah.
No figures, like other than the N2 toys, I think it was called years ago. They did a line of Road Warrior figures, and that was it.
I think it's just niche. You know what I mean? It's just like there's just I don't think that there's enough, or they feel that there's not enough interest. I think if they were out, that they would just put out like a core group, like a 3-figure set or whatever. People will buy it.
Yeah,
It's true.
This one, scratch that. I don't need a Mad Max. I need an Ace Hunter figure from Megaforce.
We all
Hunter.
need an Ace Hunter figure.
Real spandex.
The headband, and he's got to have thumb kiss action. You push the lever, and
Yeah.
the lips need to actually pucker.
I
I don't know how you can
rewatched
coordinate.
it was exactly as I remembered it from '82. It's still awesome.
Here's some intel from Classic Action Figures. I believe NECA tried to get the Mad Max line, but the owner doesn't want a license. Well, there you go. That's the end of that. I mean, if a guy doesn't want to play ball, then in limbo it will sit, and that's really a shame.
Yeah.
Well, it's 2021. I mean, this whole I don't want a figure made of me, or that it's time that's done. It's a huge honor. Fans love it.
Yep.
Why not? Why?
Yeah.
I understand years gone by, Sigourney Weaver saying, I don't want a figure made of me with a gun. Okay, fine. You've got your certain stance, but even she, as staunch as she was against it, has loosened up and went, okay, well, it's not me. It doesn't say Sigourney Weaver with pulse rifle. It says Ellen Ripley. You play a character who doesn't have the same, ideals and beliefs that you have. And actors do that all the time. They play mass murderers. It doesn't make them mass murderers, most of them anyway.
Doesn't it?
Oh, same deal, yeah. Jazz and Porsche, that's always been a hang up. That's what's so great about the 80s. It was the Wild West. A company like Hasbro and Takara, we're just going to do a Porsche. Whatever.
Yeah.
What's Porsche going to say? You know what they're going to say? Cool. That's what they're going to say.
Exactly.
And now what they say is lawyer up.
Yeah, lawyer up. That's unfortunately that's what happens. That drives the price up too. I don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't care for that.
Funko Pop, but that doesn't really count. I mean, there's Funko Pop of everything. I went into Toys R Us the other day when I was still allowed to go into stores, and I saw an Obi Funko Pop and a Retro Toy Pile Jared Funko Pop.
That's right.
So
Mine aren't
yeah,
doing quite as well as they could be, though. So.
that's right.
yours was the deluxe because it had 6 Daytolfs behind it.
Yeah,
Yeah, multiple outfits.
that's the Canadian test market. They'll be coming to the States.
That's it.
6 months, perhaps. We're not sure yet. Just trying.
Mine was on clearance. You get mine free when you buy a birthday balloon.
Yeah.
Yeah, Funko Pops, man. I mean, every property, they have everything. Seinfeld finally just came out.
Yeah.
Really?
And that was like the one I was like, yeah, they'll never get Seinfeld. Oh, yeah. It's up for pre-order on Big Bad.
They got them. They got them.
Because they cost nothing to make. There's no tooling. It's very easy to bang them out.
Absolutely.
Here's one that really sparks my imagination.
Oh my!
The Interceptor,
6th scale Interceptor, Road Warrior, the second movie, the rust job with the tanks in the back and removable, just like Auto Art did, the removable bumper.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That car would be massive.
Door opening with dog. Oh.
You know, I think there's someone on Instagram. Their handle escapes me, but I'm pretty sure they made a custom of the Interceptor.
Ooh.
Really?
Man, that had to be from scratch because I don't think there's any 6th scale Falcons that ever got made.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Boy, I wish I could remember the handle because it came out really nice. If I think of it, I'll drop you a line. Maybe you can post it. But yeah, it was definitely a nice custom. It's on Instagram. I don't know. Maybe search hashtag Mad Max Custom or something like that. It might pop up.
If it was it Jazz Inc. maybe? Because I know he does a lot of ground up stuff for 6th scale. He did
right?
he did the Batmobile from Justice League from the ground up. It's gorgeous. It's it's huge. It's massive.
I found it. It's gorgeous. Look at that. Interceptor. I'm messing with you. It's not it.
I was gonna say that
it's a piece of
that's not the
it's
one
a cab.
Why? Oh, cool. What is that?
It's just some cab.
Oh, cool picture. That's not the one I want. But
I'm not paying money for that.
Hey, I see somebody mentioned Toy Fair and Wizard magazines.
Yeah,
in the comments there.
Love those.
I was going to click on that.
Yeah,
I
still have some. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry to whoever wrote that. I can't find it. I was going to click on it.
It may have been William Curry, possibly.
Ah, there it is.
Is that? Am I right? Was it?
Yeah, Toy Fair. I used to buy that every month. Yep. Man, that was just like the old days of getting the catalogs with the toys.
Right.
Yeah.
Great photography.
Something great about flipping pages that I really miss. I do have the what number wizard is it? It's the Spawn. It's the Spawn Wizard. Came with the trading card. I forget what number it was, but it was pretty early on. I still have that one, and I do have the early some Toy Fair, Toy Arc, and Tomarts from early 2000s. The ones that featured all the Masters of the Universe stuff.
I've still got a lot of old Toy Fairs. Thank goodness I kept them. And I wasn't really in a keeping mood at the time I was buying them. It's not like I'm going to keep these and put them in a plastic sleeve. I kept a few comics, but Toy Fair was like, read it and toss it, right? But I don't know. I kept rereading them. I'm like, this is kind of cool. I never thought I'd hold on to them for 10 years or more. But I'm so glad I did. And I've got to do one of those flip through videos on one of those Toy Fairs because I think they've been gone long enough that it's starting to become a little nostalgic thinking about those old Toy Fair magazines.
Yeah. It wasn't that long ago, but yeah, you're
doesn't seem like it was that long ago, you know?
Right.
Was it like 2 weeks ago?
That was about a month ago or something like that. It was before the lockdown.
It was March. Obi, how much would a Hot Toys Transformer that transforms cost?
It's actually well.
You got an extra kidney.
I mean, they did. Hot Toys only did they did Optimus Prime a few years ago as just the the robot.
Yeah,
mode.
non-transforming. Yep.
But it was only in the 12-inch scale instead of making it like in scale with 6 scale, and that didn't transform. That was like $250 like 7 years ago. I was like, it's not, there was no, it was all plastic. There was no die cast or anything like that. I was like, that's crap.
Yeah.
And then Wei Jiang Hasbro made their own 12-inch Prime, the Masterpiece 01, which looked good. It didn't have the best posability. Wei Jiang later on they upscaled Masterpiece, the second Masterpiece Prime, upscaled him to 12-inch. He's just a tad taller than the original Masterpiece Prime. So he's the Masterpiece second version Prime. Great posability, 12-inch. He goes great in a Detolf with other 12-inch figures. And that one was like $100. So I know that's unlicensed fan, unauthorized thing. And so they don't have to pass the savings on to you like Super 7 does when they license out things, and all of a sudden something's $5 or $10 or $50 more than it should be because it's the license. That's how it works. But that Wei Jiang, if anyone's looking for a 6th scale Optimus, or not 6th scale, but one that will go with your 6th scale figures, if it's still available, that is a great one to go with. Scuba Pete Funko Pop, I saw one of those today as well. Yeah, that's a deluxe because it's got the regulator and all the scuba diving stuff, and comes in the tank and stuff like that.
Regulator.
Yeah.
Light up eyes.
Yeah, the Toys R Us wall of Funko Pops is just madness, absolute madness. Like they just keep growing and growing, and I think they're selling, but more just keep coming in.
You can't keep up with that.
You still have Toys R Us in Canada, yeah?
A couple, yeah.
Yeah. Good for you.
Yeah, we've got about 80 or so across the country.
We have none, so
I think there's still like a mini one, isn't there?
No, Jared, the building is still there. The
building is still there.
Yeah. And
but
it says Toys R Us written in dust with the words
written in filth.
Written in filth and muck.
They took the sign down, and the filth is still there.
Those are actually man tears.
Right, man tears. Yeah.
No, they moved to the Halloween store that goes there now.
Yeah.
But I remember hearing from somebody saying they went to visit Toys R Us in the States. So there is, I think, still a little pop-up store somewhere in a mall somewhere. It might be in Jersey or in New York somewhere.
Really?
Yeah, not like a full-blown Toys R Us. I think it's more like a KB, which, if that's the case, I know, Jared, you are going to want to check that one out.
Yeah, I might want to look into that.
Once you're able to actually go somewhere.
That's true.
I'd love to go to KB. Toys R Us, KB, yeah, definitely.
There's Gojitron says Super 7 is doing Shogun Warrior style Optimus for $350. That is a little on the steep side. I think that still comes in cheaper than the latest Masterpiece anime style Prime with trailer. I think that one was more.
Does Super 7 make anything that's worth $350? I mean, I'm not poo-pooing on anyone's company.
Oh no.
I just it doesn't seem like it's that caliber of a figure to be $350. No.
Well, I know like the Thunder Tank is up there in price. I don't know what they're getting for that. I didn't order it because it was a little too pricey.
Yeah, I don't know about that particular one, but their Thunder Tank is $450 in the States, and that one I'm kind of like, yeah, I can see it. Like I can see with the licensing issue that I talked about, with the size of the thing and the gimmicks, I can see it being worth that much. Again, it's like, man, I wish they could cut some stuff out to drop that price a little bit, but so a $450 Super 7 item with how huge it is. I mean, it's insanely huge. That Thunder Tank they're doing is like, it's mind-blowingly huge. It's to scale in the show. And in the show, the Thunder Tank was a beast.
Yeah.
It was much bigger than the original toy ended up being.
Sure. Yeah.
It's a two-seater in the front. Like 2 guys can fit in the front, and in the back, a bunch of guys can fit. Like it is a troop carrier. It's not just the Thunder Tank.
Right.
So yeah, I kind of see the price being justified in the States, but as a Canadian, all of a sudden There's the currency conversion, which makes the price skyrocket. There's extra shipping to Canada, plus customs. And I'm like, hey man, that's an extra $200, maybe more, for this Canuck. And that's what makes me go too much. Not the $450 price tag. It's like the extra 200 on it. I'm like, ooh.
You would be better
$750.
Buy it from Europe.
What's that?
Buy it from Europe.
You got to buy it from the States. You got to get it from the States from Super 7, but $750 for, if that's what it would work out with extra shipping and customs. Wow. $750 is a little steep for this Canuck for a Thunder Tank, even though the thing looks amazing. So Americans, enjoy your Thunder Tank if you're lucky enough to get one. You're very lucky that you live in the States and you're able to get one without customs or extra shipping. Wyatt Green says, can I get a shout out, please? It would mean a lot since I lost my grandpa. Well, Wyatt, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Sorry to hear that, Wyatt.
Thanks for joining us on this live stream. Hoping that chatting with us has lifted your spirits a little bit. So, yeah, Nerdmas Day, good brother. Sorry to hear that.
Hang in there, man.
Absolutely.
Chris, they are tearing the old Toys R Us building down last week. Oh, poor Toys R Us. I wish they would just leave them all alone because they'll be back, right? Am I too optimistic? Toys R Us did get purchased again from some old place, from someplace. So they are trying. I mean, the pandemic hit and that kind of slammed the brakes on the rebirth of Toys R Us, as well as like the improvement here in Canada, because they were banging it. Like they were doing awesome here in Canada with all sorts of improvements now that, they were free of the old management. And I did some videos going, hey, Toys R Us, the magic is back. And I'm the guy who was always going, the magic is gone. So I did a Toys R Us myself. I loved going to Toys R Us pre-pandemic. It was just, it felt so awesome. They redid all of the layouts to feel like old school layouts, to make the store feel bigger. And then the pandemic hit, and they had to take out some of the improvements, like the benches. Nice to be able to sit down. And other things like arrows.
The men's room.
But like the direction arrows, do not enter here. I'm like, man, that's too bad.
Yeah, it's almost like a full remodel with all of those, pandemic stuff. Yeah. It's part of the landscape, but it's getting better.
Oh, Wyatt's asking, Merdmas Day? No, Nerdmas Day. Nerdmas Day is like Namaste. Namaste means the light in me honors the light in you. And so Nerdmas Day means the nerd in me honors the nerd in you. So I'm very happy that you're a nerd like myself. I use that term lovingly. I'm very proud to be a nerd.
Yeah.
We'll take a couple more here. We've gone overtime here. Do you guys got somewhere to be? I don't want to keep you from sleep. I don't want to keep myself from sleeping too. We'll just take a couple more and then we'll sign off here. You know what? I'll sleep when I'm tired.
Yeah.
I thought
I'll sleep when I have time.
No, I don't want to die.
All right.
This is fun. Toys R Us here got turned into a clothing store. Oh man, it's becoming. Oh no.
Oh, that's sad.
That is like getting socks for Christmas. Yeah, you're right.
Thank you for joining us, Wyatt. Much love to you and to your family too. Take care, good brother.
Take care, man.
Chris was a nerd before it was cool. A lot of us can say that. Hey, here's a cool one to end on. Let's finish off on this one. Ray's Wonder says, Time Machine, first stop 1986 Toys R Us. If you guys had a DeLorean with a flux capacitor and a lightning bolt timed perfectly, Time Machine, where would you go?
Chuck E. Cheese.
What, like last week?
No, like back in the Rock-afire explosion days.
Ooh,
Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We never had him here. We got him later, and I went, like, I don't know if it was like 5 years ago, but some popped up here. And so I took my wife to Chuck E. Cheese because I said, I've heard about Chuck E. Cheese my whole life from the Americans watching it on on the channels, we have to go to Chuck E. Cheese.
Mm-hmm.
And we had the worst pizza I've ever had in my life, but that wasn't Chuck E. Cheese's fault. I've heard maybe some of the regular pizza wasn't anything to write home about, but we got the gluten-free pizza, and they take it out of a freezer and they put it in the oven, but it wasn't fully cooked. And so the pizza wasn't anything special. But then the arcade that was there, I'm like, that's kind of cool that there's an arcade and a Chuck E. Cheese, but I'm sure it wasn't as cool as back in the 80s with all the classic games.
Yeah. And it's one of those things, like if it was 1986 or 1987, whatever, you'd be seeing those things in a much different lens. You'd be excited about those arcade games because they hadn't been around for 30 years, and you hadn't played them before. So the experience of getting the tokens out of the machine and playing those games and going on those little rides, the little sparkly spaceships that they would have, you put a quarter in and you ride it for 20 minutes or whatever. Crawling through the little tunnel that was underneath the stage, and
cool.
So it's all of those little experiences. Would I enjoy that as an adult? No, absolutely not. And the pizza was probably terrible back then, but when you're 6 years old, and you're there for a birthday party and all your friends are running around, and that's
the best thing.
That's a pretty good day. Yeah.
Actually, now that you describe it like that, I did have that experience. It just wasn't under the moniker of Chuck E. Cheese, but we had a place in Kitchener called Sports World.
Okay.
So, I mean, there was a lot of sports stuff to do there, golf and other games like that. But they had a colossal arcade, which is what I imagine a Chuck E. Cheese arcade was like, with all the games. It wasn't just arcades, but the shooters and also the crawl through the balls and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So got to experience that. And also the McDonald's here, some of them had the exact same type of thing, the playgrounds. And I don't feel like I missed out now. Hey, I had that under a different corporation, but still the same fun. How about you, Obi? Time Machine, where do you go?
Oh, Time Machine. Well, when I was a kid, for me, it was Child World, because we didn't have a Toys R Us around here. We had Child World. So I would go 1982 Child World, because then I get the best of Star Wars and the Joe toys just coming out. And I remember those shelves. Those shelves were, it was just a glorious thing. Walk in, the whole aisle, both sides, just full to the brim. You could find anything you wanted. If you had a figure and it broke, it'd be like, oh, just go buy another one, because they were there. It wasn't like, I'm screwed, I gotta find some guy on eBay. To sell me a repro head. Oh, it was a beautiful, beautiful thing. Yeah, definitely. 82
Scuba Pete just joined us. Hello, Scuba Pete. Glad you could join us. Just as we're signing off, Stephanie says Pizza Hut in the 80s. Thank you for the fun live stream. Have an awesome night. Pizza Hut ruled. Man, I'm looking forward to Pizza Hut buffet opening up eventually. Takeout only for the last year, but I really miss sitting down at a Pizza Hut buffet. Glad that's still around in some parts of the province. And where I would go, Micah would go to Tokyo, Japan. I've never been there, so maybe instead of going there today, it might be cooler to go back in the 80s, get myself a Ribera Steakhouse jacket.
Wow.
Now you're talking.
But where I would go, a lot of people probably figure Toys R Us, right? I'm like, I love Toys R Us, but if I had one shot, I would go to Highway Market. That was my first toy store when I was a little kid. Highway Market was Walmart. What Walmart is today, we had that back in the early 80s, 1980. I mean, the place was around forever. I think it was around in the 60s, but I first started going there in the late 70s, early 80s. That's where I got my first Joes, Breaker, Grunt, Short Fuse. And it had everything. And that was so unusual back in the day. It was the size of a Walmart supercenter. This thing this was mind-blowing that it was in a small town at the time of Kitchener, Ontario, an hour away from Toronto. You'd think it would be in Toronto. And as the legend goes, it had the largest toy section in North America, supposedly. Wow. This is before Toys R Us, when KB was the major competitor. But It was colossal. So there was groceries, there was clothes, there was all sorts of things on the main floor, but there was an escalator, and I'm talking a ramp. I think it was a ramp instead of steps, an escalator that took you up into the promised land of the toy section.
Boy.
And when you got up there, on your left was toys galore, all the new stuff, aisles and aisles of toys. And then on the right was all of the graveyard. It was all the clearance toys, the unsold toys. So I not only got to see all the new stuff, these new He-Man figures and new G.I. Joes and new Transformers, I got to go over in the other aisle and see all of the failed, obscure toy lines from years gone by, like Battlestar Galactica, Remco stuff, and no shows, no comics, no nothing. But I got to go through all that stuff and just go, what is all of this in this separate clearance section? It was
awesome.
It was a really special place. So there are some pictures that still exist, very few, unfortunately, but I think Plaid Stallions has some pictures of Highway Market in Kitchener, Ontario. Just a couple pictures. They're all black and white. They're not very good resolution, but when I saw the pictures, I got the goosebumps. I got the goose flesh because I remember that cash register. I remember exactly where everything is. There's the escalator right there. There's the Joes. There's the droids. I remember seeing the droids. And if you hook that corner, there's the video game section and all the clearance toys. So that was my special place.
That's awesome.
That sounds awesome, man. Cool.
That does sound awesome.
Very cool.
Well, we can fit plenty of guys in the DeLorean. Well, there's a trunk, right? We'll cram you in there, and I'll take you for a ride back to.
We'll use
that is awesome,
Fusion
and then we'll grab some orange sherbet on the way home.
On
the way out, because
there was so good.
There was an ice cream section like at the entrance, so when you're on your way home, you can grab a hot dog and an orange sherbet too. So awesome time, and also like one of those little booths. One of those booths that you drop coins in and you can watch Mighty Mouse cartoons. You remember those?
Yep. Yeah, they had, it was either cartoons or sometimes the Little Rascals would be on in one of those.
Right.
Yeah. Love that.
Great.
All right. But another place I'd love to go back is back an hour and 26 minutes and relive this chat. Because this has been awesome. I wish I could relive it. I guess I can relive it, but just watching it back again.
Yeah, absolutely.
YouTube has a completely different ending.
YouTube has recorded it for posterity. So, guys, thanks so much for joining me today. Awesome chat, as always. The Massachusetts Wrecking Crew. Folks in the, yes, I did, Pete, orange sherbet, and there was nothing like it. Can't get it in stores. And the closest I think I've found is Baskin Robbins is close, but still nothing as delicious as Highway Market orange sherbet. Gaz is more into lemon sherbet. That was good too. Hey Gilster, good to see you, Gilster. MC DJ. Ooh, I'm all out of bubblegum ice cream.
Yeah, bubblegum ice cream.
I've come here to eat bubblegum ice cream. Yeah. But yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Folks in the chat and people watching this over again in the future, check out the comment section or in the description, the show notes. And I got links to Obi and Jared's Instagram pages right there. Awesome pictures on there. Give them a follow. Thanks so much, guys. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having us, Mike.
Likewise.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
Until
everyone.
Next time.
I gotta play your theme music to play out here.
Play us out.
There we go. Theme music for the Massachusetts Wrecking Crew.
I
love it.
I dig it.
Everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.